Mike White dominated yesterday, and we're going to talk about how it happened. Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, we are going to get into Mike White's performance in his first start of the year. Before we get started today, I wanted to mention where you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary and why. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Mike White was really good yesterday. He put up some very impressive numbers, and yes, it's against a Chicago Bears defense that isn't very good, but that doesn't matter. He was extremely efficient, effective with the football, and there were some impressive stats from his performance yesterday. So I want to go through that and talk about why it was outside of the opponent that made him so successful. He was 22 of 28, which is a 78.6 completion percentage, 315 yards, which is 11.3 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 149.3 rating. He was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in Week 12. Again, really impressive performance here from Mike White against the Chicago Bears. Something that jumped out and why he was so successful, and this is really what I want to get into in this video, is how quick he was able to get the ball out of his hands. 2.46 seconds, fourth fastest of any quarterback this week. And that's all that you really need to do in this offense. I guess if you want to say frustrating thing with comparing it to Zach Wilson is how long Zach Wilson would hold on to the ball, which really isn't ideal for this offense. You want to get the ball out. You want to get it in your playmakers' hands and let good things happen, which is exactly what happened yesterday. That's what the Jets need. They need someone to get the ball out quickly in their playmakers' hands. And they were, again, dominant on offense. They scored 31 points. Over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And all it was step back, good fundamentals, good footwork, get the ball out quickly. It was a drastic change from what we saw from Zach Wilson earlier this year because Zach Wilson wasn't doing those things. He was holding on to the ball too long. He wasn't confident. He was panicking. And his fundamentals, his lower half is completely off. We heard both Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur talk about how they need to get Zach Wilson back doing the little things, the little fundamentals right. I hope he was watching closely to that Mike White game yesterday, because White completed nearly 80% of his passes, was getting the ball out extremely quick and making all the throws that he needed to make. And he was getting the ball, again, he was getting the ball in the playmaker's hands. Was there anything spectacular that he did? Not necessarily, but the impressive part was, again, just going through his reads, having the wherewithal to get the ball within your playmaker's hands and let good things happen. For instance, the big Elijah Moore catch and run. It was a confident, really nice throw, and it was a good connection that they both, like Elijah Moore kind of broke off his route a little bit, and it was a good anticipation throw. And then it was a big run after the catch. Garrett Wilson's second touchdown, big run after the catch. There were countless times where it was just, again, get the ball out, get it to the open guy, and let good things happen. It's really not that complicated for this offense to be successful, and it was a drastic difference offensively. The Jets' offense hasn't looked that good this year yet, and Mike White went out there and put up some really good numbers. So shout out to him. Obviously, White is going to start against the Minnesota Vikings, and Minnesota's defense isn't really that good either. They're a little bit better than the Chicago Bears, that's a bottom feeder defense, but that's just a tough matchup in terms of, obviously as a team, they're a 9-2 football team. That's a really good football team in Minnesota. Going on the road to Minnesota is a tough task, but we'll see if Mike White's up for it. I think if he plays like he did yesterday, there's a really good chance the Jets could win the game. And obviously you have Buffalo after that, but you're just going to take this one game at a time. And if you just say to him, please just do that again. Because something that I was critical of Mike White on, and a lot of people were critical of Mike White on, was the number of interceptions and turnover-worthy plays that he had. There was maybe one pass that could have been intercepted yesterday, but other than that, again, he completed nearly 80% of his passes. That's really nitpicky to be focusing on that when, again, the 11.3 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 149.3 rating. It was one of the better quarterbacked games that we've seen a New York Jets quarterback have in recent memory. So shout out to Mike White, man. He just did the damn thing yesterday. Going to get another opportunity, obviously, this week against the Minnesota Vikings. And I've been asked a ton. What do you do? Do you go back to Zach Wilson? Do you continue to ride Mike White? And I say you just keep riding this until it stops working, and then reevaluate from there. But with that performance yesterday, you gotta love it. It's just keep it simple. You have good players on offense. You have good weapons on offense. Let them get the ball. Let them do their thing, and good things will happen. So let me know your thoughts on Mike White down below in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I will catch you next time.